Islamic principles which need to be considered while recording transactions. There are five key principles which should be taken care of while recording. The first one is trust. In Sharia in Islam, it is considered that whatever you are having, you are not the actual owner of that thing. You are actually vicegerent of God who has given the the authority to maintain it, but the ultimately it belongs to somebody else. That is God. And because it belongs to God, it has to be used in the way God wants. You also have some kind of share in it, but others, the society, also has a share in it. And that has to be given too. So from this point of view, trust means that when you have something, you are having, you are using it in such a manner that you have trust in God. And therefore you believe that you are a vicegerent and you are not the sole owner of the thing. Therefore you try to record all the transaction, keeping that trust in mind that you have been given this opportunity to record transaction, to maintain accounts, and that should be done according to whatever set principles are there. The second Islamic principle is the principle of transparency. And as I told you earlier, that these principles are also relevant in conventional finances and times, but only the connotation and emphasis is a bit different. So here we have more emphasis and things may be much more specific, but in general we don't have. So the second is transparency. Transparency means that whatever is allowed to be disclosed, that should be disclosed. This is what is the understanding of Sharia. That whatever is to be disclosed should be disclosed. By that we mean that whatever is asked to be disclosed by the competing parties, and that comes under the legal purview, that has to be disclosed, because that relates to accounting information of a business. A business has to disclose accounting information to its stakeholder. Suppliers, they are interested in some kind of accounting information to continue supplying goods on credit to the organization, to the business. Creditors also need some inside information so as to continue giving you credit, etc. And therefore, accounting information is very important. So this second principle of transparency deals with that whatever the business should disclose from the point of view as accounting transaction, that should be transparent. So the fundamental statement is that what needs to be disclosed should be disclosed. Getting the second is transparency. The third principle is a recording in time, which means that recording should be there, but there should not be delay in recording. So when a transaction happens, that should be recorded as soon as it is possible and feasible. Because when you delay, there is a scope for suspicion, wrong decision, manipulation, etc. So as an Islamic principle, delay of recording is not preferred. It's not allowed. Unless and until there are certain emergencies or the situation does not allow, then it is a different thing. Otherwise, it is always that transactions should be required in time, that they should be required when they happen. Otherwise, we are going to leave room for manipulation, what technically can be occurred in a transaction. So this is the third one, in time. Then the fourth one is justifying the value that is being recorded. There should not be overvaluation or undervaluation. So valuation should be justified, exact, accurate, to whatever extent possible. Because if there is overvaluation, then the investors will be in loss. If it is undervaluation, then the business will be in loss. So Islam does not want that any competing party should be in loss because of a deliberate wrong step taken by the person in charge or the business itself. Therefore, it is important that this should be taken care. The fifth principle is that if you read the principles of conventional accounting system, you'll find one principle by the name going concern concept. That the business, at the time of recording, it will be assumed that the business will continue working its operation. Similarly, in Islam, there is a concept of continuity, which means that a deliberate break in recording or not maintaining of accounts or at times destroying is not allowed. Just a minute. Oh, okay. So continuity is another important principle which should be taken care. Because without continuity, we cannot compare the recorded transactions. Therefore, continuity is very important. Even at times when there is continuity, when continuity is missing, there is possible breakouts for manipulation. So leaving room for manipulation is what goes against Islamic principles. The next topic which we should focus on, because these are introductory topics, so I am taking briefly, we'll focus more on things that are technical in nature. We have ethical consideration, users, professions, and Islamic accounting services. So let's take ethical consideration. What is ethics? Can anyone tell me what is ethics?
Sir, values and beliefs.
Okay. How it is different from morals? Okay. So ethics is a value judgment which is situational. So according to situation, if we take a value judgment, that is ethics. Morality is a value judgment without any situational analysis. You're getting my point? So we have a concept of virtues and vices, which comes under morals. But ethics is talked about businesses, laws, legislatures, etc., where situational answers are required. You getting my point? So ethics is application of value judgment according to situation. Because situations give multiple answers, and each situation has a different answer. So therefore, ethics are more pragmatic in approach. We cannot write in accounting that there should be moral consideration, because morality cannot apply to accounting, because accounting needs value judgment at times, but it is also objective in nature. And because we have to complete the task, in case of different type of situations, we may have competing or opposite answers. So that why ethics is much better term to be used. So what are the ethical consideration in accounting? Ethical consideration in accounting, in Islamic accounting particularly, refers to that the stakeholders that are involved in the process, all the stakeholders, and the items, the accounting items that are involved, both should be ethical in nature. That people who are recording, they should be ethical. And people, whatever they are recording, that should also be ethical, which means that all these two should be according to Sharia principles. Means recording of interest-based transaction is questionable. Okay, so these are the ethical considerations. And then we have the users and professions. So users of Islamic accounting informations are all the investors, all the stakeholders in per se, which includes the customers, the regulatory bodies, banks, financial intermediaries, creditors, suppliers, watchdogs, etc. And these users of accounting information are seeking a specific answer. For example, investors. Investors are seeking a specific answer. And the specific answer is, what about the credibility of the company? What about the returns? What about the dividend, etc.? They are not interested in the cash to cash cycle of the organization, which is an important accounting information. But they are not interested in. They are interested in returns, market value. Similarly, suppliers are not interested in market value. Suppliers are interested in the creditor's payment ratio, the creditor's payment period. That is what they are interested in. Getting the point? So they are not concerned with the return or the share capital or unpaid share capital. They will be concerned with those things only that pertains to them. So users of accounting information are all the stakeholders, but what kind of information they are seeking, that differs. Okay. And I think this is what I wanted to share with you initially. So I think this is sufficient for today. And if you have any question, and we can take up the question and we can have a discussion, and then we'll continue in the next class. Anybody here? Anybody who has any doubt?
No, sir. No doubt.
Okay, we'll continue in the next class. Tomorrow at 12:30, most probably I'll be taking the class. Okay.